Hi, my name is Alex Carlson. This is my speech on financial devastation in 2008-2007, and this is class communications. Let's begin. What happens when poor policy, misguided information, and greedy individuals combine? Let me tell you, millions of people lose their jobs, billions are lost in 401ks, and families are left in shambles, asking why. An article writes, mortgage crisis, credit crisis, bank collapse, government bailouts. Phrases like these are frequently appear in headlines throughout the fall of 2008, a period in which major financial markets lost more than 30% of their value. At the speech today, I'll be talking about the variables leading to the financial crash. I'll be talking about how the variables caused the crash, and then also the effect the crash had on the economy in general. So first, let's talk about the first point. This is a financial crash and the two parties to blame. First, poor monetary policy, and second, greedy individuals. Both of these, when combined, were two variables for disaster. This quote here says that an affordable housing goal imposed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in 1992 were the major contributors to both the deterioration of the underwriting standards between 1992 and 2008. Monetary policies at the time seemed like a great plan, but in actuality were devastating. Second, individuals' greed. If we look at the markets at that time and the home people were buying homes way above what they could afford because they were getting low 5-year ARM rates that people thought that they could pay for when their job continues to go as well as it was. But when you combine the factors with this poor monetary policy you get these jobs that weren't going anywhere, people who owned homes that they couldn't make payments on anymore and had no choice but to foreclose on them. Second point, I want to talk about how these variables, the individuals and the monetary policies, led to the crash. So to understand the monetary policy, you have to understand prime and subprime loans. Now if you look at this quote here, it says prime and subprime mortgages are built upon the same basic principle, providing large loans with a home or other real estate property as collateral. However, there are some significant differences between subprime, aka non-prime, and prime loans, which have led to major impact on homeowners as well as lenders. Now, prime loans are great, right? You go out and get a mortgage, you have a stable job, your debt to equity ratios are healthy, and you pay your mortgage. Now, subprime loans are not great. They're terrible, actually. You go out and you buy a third, fourth home with a job that could hardly provide one home, but you got such low rates for 5 years that you're able to make the payments on it. Now, it's inevitable that at the end of that 5 years, you're going to have to pay more, and if everybody's going to be paying more, then you're going to have a bunch of foreclosures. Now, how does this affect the economy? Well, what we're doing is we're putting together these mortgage bonds, right? The banks are putting mortgage bonds together, prime and subprime loans, putting it together, and when you can combine them, it appeared to be diversified, right? Because you have prime and subprime, so you get AAA rated bonds or whatnot, and it actually was. It was a decent way to make money. Now what happened is the bank ran out of prime loans, and so they had to resort to subprime loans. Now, what they were telling us is that subprime loans, if you put enough of them together, is considered diversified, right? So if you get a bunch of really low quality mortgages put into one area, the chance of each one, or a half of them, or a fourth of them, or whatever it may be, foreclosing is not likely. Well, what they failed to understand was that if one or two common variables occurred in the economy, the entire market, or that entire subprime loan market, had no chance of survival. So, which is what happened with our monetary policy. Now, point 3, the effect the crash had on households, just everyday households in America. Americans lost trillions in household wealth. A quote by Childress, it says that the Treasury Department in April assessed for a total loss household of $19.2 trillion. This is money lost in college savings, lost in retirement accounts, lost in 401ks. People's find security in their money, and it was lost for millions and millions of Americans. Not only that, but Americans also lost jobs. There's this report by Goldman, and they say a sobering U.S. labor report said on Friday showed the economy lost 524,000 jobs in December and in 2008, and 1.9 million in the year's final 4 months when the credit crisis began in September. Unbelievable. So not only did these Americans lose all of their savings, all of their college funds, all of their retirement funds, but now they lost their jobs, so they have no way to replenish. In conclusion, as we can see, poor policy, misguided information, greedy individuals, when combined, is the perfect storm for disaster. Now, us as everyday citizens working in a global economy need to understand issues like this so that we can work to prevent them in the future. Thank you very much.